right, you guys, we are live here right now with a special IOPS podcast labeled Mental Health Awareness and then hashtag Bell Let's Talk. So the reason I wanted to do this podcast is obvious, just kind of what's going on in the world, where we're at. No one's really, you kind of hear some conversations about it, you kind of do, kind of don't. But right now I wanted to bring more awareness to that conversation. So that's what we're going to have tonight. I got a few guests on here that are more than willing to open up that conversation and see where we go. So let us know, you guys, if there's anything in the comments, like if there's anything you want to know, maybe who to contact, any of that. We're wide open tonight. Yeah, I think I will put my phone number in here if you guys do want to call in and join the conversation. But we're going to get right to it here. I'm going to introduce who we got. So to my left, we got Haley Rose. Welcome, Haley.
Hello, everyone.
Right on. And right below her, we got Brent Dodging Horse.
Hello, everybody. Hello to all the IOPS and Indigenous people around the world.
And then right below here, we got Brent's wife, Sonia Dodging Horse.
Hi, everybody.
Right on. I'm just sharing right on here onto all my groups here. But yeah, thanks you guys for joining the podcast tonight, and much needed, very much needed. So I a lot of people know me through Chase the Ace. That's kind of like my thing, I guess. And tonight we did our draw tonight, and I started having an anxiety attack. Literally live while I was talking about mental health, literally during that show. So it was crazy, but it was good to actually have that experience live on the show and then kind of show how we were walking through it, like how we kind of just helped with that anxiety, how hard it is, but at the same how easy it is to talk to someone about it. So that's what I did. I had Tesla and Mosquito on there for Treaty Apparel. And then Brownie, my co-host, we all just talked about it. So it was nice.
Yeah.
So go ahead, Brett.
Well, I think that's one of the very first things that during the pandemic, mental wellness is so important to don't hold it in and talk about the issues that are that may be on your mind or something that worries you, but also, it's let's talk by Bell Day, and it encourages to reach out and to talk to your friends or talk to people, and I think that's one step right there. Nathan is talking about it.
That's the big one, man. It's like we gotta normalize, and what I brought up is we gotta normalize. Well, I'm hearing an echo on somebody there. I'm watching it from their phone. Maybe that's from Sonia. So I'm just checking your mic here. Give me a sec, you guys. But anyway, I was talking about how we got to normalize the conversation. Just how we're starting to normalize COVID. Remember at the beginning when we had COVID, when COVID came and then we started to find out people got it. And let's be honest, they were treated like they had leprosy or something or some kind of rank disease. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now when you bring up the conversation, people are like, oh, I can't go. And we're like, why? Oh, I'm in quarantine. And you're like, oh, okay, how long? Or, it's just normal. You know what I mean? Kind of just accept it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the kind of conversation we need to, that's how mental health needs to be normalized. It would be nice to just go up there and say, hey, what's going on? Oh, nothing. What's going on with you? Oh, I'm having a real bad time. Anxiety, going crazy. I need to talk. Yeah, sure, man. Let's hear it out. That's how the conversation needs to be.
Yeah. And, Nathan, I just finished dropping off elk and moose meat at a nation member's house in the city, and just reach out, talk to people, see how they're doing, because everybody deals with the pandemic or COVID related issues different. Some may not talk about it. Some may turn to different avenues, right? But it's just important to show people that you're there for them.
Yeah.
It's so important to have a conversation about mental health, especially now that we're in COVID. A lot of people are isolated, and I don't think people realize how low your your mental health can go when you're in quarantine and you're all alone in your room. Like, it's tough, and a lot of people are feeling lonely during these times, and especially lockdown, not being able to see their loved ones, not being able to play any sports and whatnot. Like, that really takes a toll on you and your mental health, for sure.
I just got a question here from Sequin and Henneque. My youngest son was feeling super lonely for people because of the lockdown. Then we were given a kitten. Wow, what a difference that kitten brought to our lives.
Oh, wow. I know
And
about
that's
that.
You know what, Brett? Hey, I was exactly like that. And then my daughter got a cat. She was just crying and crying around for a cat. We do have another fifth person on here. Hold on, Mike. I know you're in the background, but I want to talk about my cat real quick. My daughter's cat. I exactly had that exact reaction that Brent said about the cat. Like, oh, I don't know about a cat and stuff, right? Couldn't stand the cat. 2 days in, that thing was like a kid to me, man. Like, you're holding it and you're loving it, crawling around you, comes and sleep in your bed, and it actually gives you that comfort, man. Like,
Oh, yeah.
man, if that thing's not sleeping in my bed, man, I'm like calling them and everything. Like, you know what I mean? It's like a comfort, like, I guess when people have a teddy or
It's a therapy dog or a therapy
yeah.
cat. They're animals. They help you. So I have a therapy dog, and it helps me.
Yeah, we got
I
that
want
little,
to tell you. I want to tell you about Brent and how our dog helped him. So when we first got this dog, little wee dorky dog, and he had a lot of accidents in the house. And no word of a lie, he was like, I hate this dog, Sonia. If you are not going to take care of him, I mean it. I'm going to go drop her off somewhere and give her away. And not like probably in 2019 when Brent was diagnosed with MS, he was bedbound, sick as can be. Like, oh my gosh. So when he was diagnosed with MS, who was right beside him?
the dog.
Our little dog Olive. So amazing. Animals are such amazing animals. Just like, they have this little spirit and they just seem to know. And so thank goodness for this little girl, this little dog that's in our lives right now, because she is helping us through like this pandemic and our mental emotional well-being, and she's just the light and life in our day.
Yeah. Let's get back to animals real quick, but I want to introduce Michael. Michael, welcome to the show.
Hey guys, how's it going? Everyone's doing great here at the start. It sounds awesome. And just hearing you tell that story, Sonia, oh, I like hearing someone that's happy. Sounds good.
Mike has his own podcast, LaRock Life, yeah, with him and his wife. So it could be a future podcast for Sonia and Brent.
100%. Yeah.
I'm glitching hard. Holy Christ.
But yeah, Mike, as you know, we're talking about mental health, and all of a sudden animals got brought up. And we talked about the cat and then Sonia and Brent's little dog. What's your thoughts about mental health?
Oh man, it's so big, and I'm so glad that Bell came out with this hashtag even years ago, right? Just to make that a little bit normal, or not even normal, just to get rid of that stigma, right? Because it's so hard for people to talk about it, and it goes such a long ways. And I understand what you're saying with the dog. I mean, it makes so much sense. I kind of feel that with horses, right? I get around horses. I used to race horses and things like that. So you can really feel it with any kind of animal, right? And everyone thinks animals are dumb or whatever, but they know, they can feel, they sense things. And yeah, no, it's awesome. I love that. I love that you guys got a dog, and it's helping, Brent. That's huge.
Yeah. Michael, horses can feel a heartbeat up to 200 yards away, and they can sense you. And as First Nation people, we have that connection to the horse, and we're with our horses every day, but once a week we're riding them or exercising them. And it's so important to be connected to animals at this time, because it's in our DNA. It's in our DNA to be connected with the animals. And we try to balance family as mind, spirit, body, soul, how you feed your body, but to have that cultural balance to the outside animals, because it makes you connected to who we are as Indian people, to be outside and work with animals.
Oh, it's beautiful to hear. And I know, and so many people, especially us, like us natives, we got to connect back to that. We keep forgetting. And I have a real theory behind that of for people, we're all like, I myself included, I went through a really, man, a couple of years ago, it was depression I really didn't think I'd get out of. I was in really tough shape, but we keep losing that connection. We forget that we lived off the land, or we got to connect with horses. We use horses so much in our past, right? And it's in our DNA. And we have to get back to that. We're so stuck in our house looking at cameras and talking on microphones, which is kind of counterintuitive what I'm talking about. But I mean, we're made for that. We're not made to sit and look at screens all day and play video games. I really feel that for myself anyway. I know that's a big one for me. Just to get outside, get hunting again, get hanging out with animals, and just get back to the basics. And especially the COVID time has really proven that to myself anyway, is just really what matters. I mean, you look around, you don't, all these friends or homies and all these things you're supposed to have, the only people in your life are your family, man. And they're the easiest ones to turn on, but they're always the ones that got your back too.
Yeah, Brent and Sonia are actually heavy into the horse racing, barrel racing, and they do the tour. Sonia and her daughter are actually Brent's a world champion too, eh? All three world champions in the INFR.
Yeah, I won it 3 times.
Oh, 3. He not once, not twice, but 3 times.
Oh, only 3 times. Jeez, buddy, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. Holy.
But back to, I guess, the connection. And, for us, it was learning to put that phone away for a couple hours, or checking your screen time. And if it says 10 or 12 hours, put it away. Just go outside and make a fire, or go outside, work with the horses, be disconnected for a while of what's going on, and just balance yourself, because we're meant to be grounded. We're meant to be around natural areas, and just get outside and do stuff, because it's so important to just come back focused. And now that we balance our lives with work, bills, health issues, everything that's going on in the world, just even write reminders of what you value every day, the 4 values that you as a human being value, right?
Yeah. You're coming in real clear there now.
Yeah, sorry, my Wi-Fi is bad, and
she's in the city, man, and we're all battling res Wi-Fi. Well, except Michael, he's got city
this
Wi-Fi.
is just embarrassing.
That's mental health right there, man. Res Wi-Fi, it drives you nuts.
Well, I'm in the basement too, so it doesn't make it any better, right?
Yeah. But getting back to and Mike, I don't know. I was telling Sonia and Brent, and I don't know if Haley, I was telling you. I was literally, I do a draw called Chase the Ace, right? And because it's like mental health awareness, but before we do the draw, and we when we go live, I always talk about suicide prevention. There's a number 2 I bring up all the time. I get people, say that's where you can call, because we always got to deal with suicide. We got to normalize that conversation. Yeah. But during that show, while I was talking about it, I started having an anxiety attack. Like like I've been having anxiety for the last 3 days. Just and I'm not like, I know Brent, Sonia, and probably you, Mike, you look like you're in shape, but I know those 2 below me are like hardcore to their fitness and stuff, eating well and stuff, which I'm not. Like, I try my best, but man, I'm not getting that exercise. So I'm wondering if that could be part of it, or if it's eating well. I try to eat well. I don't really eat that much junk, but I'm not really active. What about you, Haley? Are you active, or are you just still young, so you get all that?
I was gonna ask you, like, what types of things are you doing when you get anxiety? Like, are you just like, okay, I have anxiety right now, I need to chill out? Like, what are you doing when you get anxiety? Like,
I take a hot shower and then turn it cold. I'll ground out. I'll take my socks off, my shoes, and I'll ground out, like on the ground, or I'll touch the wall and ground out. Especially the 5 things where you're just focusing on pinpointing something right now and then talking about 5 things, trying to get into the present, So I kind of do those little basic things. And then if it's going to get real bad, which it hasn't yet, but I start talking about it to whoever's around me, because I'm okay with it, right? Like I just started getting anxiety, I think, the last 3 years. So I'm okay. Like I'm okay with it. That like I talk about it freely now, like on these podcasts, right? Like I'm okay with it, right? So
You should try box breathing. So
what
you
is that?
breathe in for like 7 seconds and you hold it for 3 seconds and then you like exhale and you do it a couple times. It's supposed to help you like focus on your breathing and like really calm you down because I don't
Yeah.
know. Personally, for me, like breathing is like the best way. I'm like, okay, Haley, you need to breathe. Like,
Yeah.
but
Haley, you bring up a good point. Like I deal with MS and I have central nervous system issues. And that's exactly what I did. I read books on breathing and
yeah,
I really tried to analyze the situation of what's making me react. And sometimes you can't control issues, so you have to learn to let them go and then resort to your breathing and just do the exercises. And I can literally bring my blood pressure down from a 147 to 117 in 2 minutes with breathing. It's
Wow.
it's it's pretty cool when you really look into the breathing techniques and what Haley talked about there's Olympic athletes and world-class runners that really rely on breathing techniques to bring their anxiety levels low, but to help with your central nervous system, and your oxygen levels can help by breaths. And I encourage people to read books about it because it works. Ask Sonia. I sound like when I sleep or I go into I just rely on my breathing.
Well, you've trained your when you sleep. You've trained your breathing when you sleep, kind of thing, or what?
When I go into pain or when I go into central nervous system issues, I just literally train my body and my mind to breathe and control of what's going on. Because if you're telling your mind that you're in a good place and you're relaxing and you're breathing, then your body starts to follow.
Huh?
yeah, it's so
That's
important.
amazing. Yeah. How does Brent, a little, sorry, not to be off topic with the breathing. Wim Hof is what I got into about halfway through Wim Hof. And then I don't know what you want to call it. I upper limited myself. I quit doing it. So then I got to jump back into it. It gets intense. So it's good though. It's really good. How is your MS? Is it affecting your brain a little bit, or what's your mindset with MS? I know like obviously it's a sickness and I get that, and with the central nervous system, but how
Yeah.
are you having any kind of brain fog or any kind of things like that you notice? Or I guess Sonia, a better question for Sonia. Does he piss you off all the time, Sonia?
At the beginning, it was tough, right, Sonia? It was really tough. And it took us about 12 months to get the inflammation out of my body.
Mhm. Yeah. So when he was diagnosed, we were in the doctor's office and going through every single emotion when the doctor said, "You have this." And the feeling in your heart, every emotion runs through. And just seeing him sit there and cry and get mad was like emotional for me. But I didn't cry. I'm just the best support system I can be for him. Even though it is hard on me as well, I don't show it as much. I just try to tell him positivity, don't own it. You know, respect it. And we learned as soon as we found out about it. I did the research. I was looking online, Facebook groups, everything on what I can find to heal naturally. And so what we found is food can reverse illnesses. It can help heal as well, and those are the right foods, right? And also movement is medicine. So we try to incorporate all of those, or we do incorporate all of those into our daily life. So movement is medicine. It helps with our mind, helps with our mental being. So just trying to be the best support system I can be for him and my daughter, and with all of that going on. So, and the pandemic and school.
Well,
So,
I guess just to add on that, I don't call it a disability at all. I call it the ability to live, because it's training your mind that, you know, when you're diagnosed with something that's pretty tough to deal with. I think if anybody out there is listening that we're strong. Indigenous people are strong, and we can deal with a lot of stuff. And it's, you know, it's how you deal with it and how you get over it is the main thing. And having a disease, illness, I don't call it a disease or an illness because I don't own it, because my plan's to reverse it through good health, good mental thoughts, and everything. But a lot of people may not be handling a pandemic as good, but you have to just keep on talking about it, or talking to elders, or having a support system, talking to counselors, and don't be afraid to have some bad days, because you got to talk about them, because the best days, you know, a pandemic can challenge a lot of people, but imagine, you know, when we get out of this, how strong we are going to be from our teachings of our elders.
I love it. Yeah. Especially with Nathan there, we're putting together some of these podcasts with elders on them. That's so important. And I mean, these are all stories that would never get out, right? Especially younger generations, they just, you know, use Cookum for some money and then leave, right? No one listens to the story, or no one listens to anything. So that's it's awesome. Even just, I know we always revert back to, you know, get away from technology, but at the same time, it's kind of helping us too at the same point. But it's no, that's so well put, Brent. I get that 100%, right? Like we got some stuff going on too here, and it's good days and bad days, as long as the you know, the good outweigh the bad. I think that's the best way to look at it. 100%.
Yeah, I'm gonna introduce real quick. Sorry, guys. Welcome, Willis, Dene Iote podcast.
Say hello, Atlanta. C'est Willis Janvier, Hushe Sanente Las Tours, the Treaty 8 territory. My name is Willis Janvier from La Loche, Saskatchewan, Dene Iote podcast. Hello, good evening.
Nezu.
Yeah.
They taught me their word there, the Dene word, when I was on their little show there. Willis, talk to us. We don't have to get into anything of your history, but talk to us kind of where you're at right now about mental health and where you're going forward with it. I know you're in social work now, but do you want to kind of dive into how you got to where you were, kind of a little bit, I guess, a general overview?
Sure, yeah. I can. I'm in. I'm in recovery now. It's been since 2015, and I lived in Fort McMurray and got into the whole drug scene and alcohol, and it was all. Before that, it was all alcohol and hockey. Hockey was a big factor in the drinking for me, and that got worse eventually. And in my mind too, I think I heard somebody. When I was younger, my thinking was that I'm just young, or I'm on vacation right now. I can just do whatever I want, and that was my thinking. And eventually it led me to, I was driving through the mountains on my way to the first treatment center I went to. I went 3 times, and I drank all night, drinking and driving, drugging. I remember I was trying to sleep outside Golden, BC, and I had ran out of booze, but I still had drugs left. I decided to try and sleep, but I couldn't. I could still hear till this day the trucks going by me in the backseat of my truck. And that was my first crack at treatment. I didn't make it through. I mean, I went 5 months, and then I ended up back in another treatment center. And then, I've been clean ever since that one. And then the third time, and this is very important, I believe my brother committed suicide, and I fell into a depression in 2017. So the company I work for sent me back to a treatment center to help me get well again, and it's helped tremendously. And I've had to bury family members and my dad over a year ago, and I still deal with mental health. The day I quit, a good job to pursue social work now, and that had its challenges. You know, the money was gone. I'm a student now. How do I handle everything? Parenting, all these things during a pandemic. I'm learning school online. Yeah, I was depressed some days, and I'd have the highs and the lows, and yeah, one thing is, without the creator, we don't get through this. And yeah, I'm still alive another day. That's what I said. I'm still alive another day.
There
Not
you
a bad,
go.
yeah.
Wow.
So that's a little bit.
Oof.
Awesome. Thanks, man. Like that, yeah, and mental health. Everyone's got to realize is in all aspects. You know, it could be through addiction. It could be through anxiety. It could be through anything. Like mental health awareness is you got to know that we're all going through something. Like it's going back to the thing that everything's good on Facebook, everything's good on Snapchat, everything's good on TikTok. You know what I mean? Instagram, everything's good, but you take that damn filter away, and 99.9999% of the world is going through shit,
Oh yeah.
and a majority do not say anything about it.
Yeah.
And our suicide rates, especially in the indigenous communities, are skyrocketing because no one wants to talk about it. We are supposed to be too damn tough. We are supposed to set it and forget it. Man up. You know what I mean? It's crazy. It's just crazy how we sometimes look at that, and we don't help each other out. And now I'm glad there's platforms like this where we're all talking now in the open and reaching that mass audience of saying, hey, man, like you need, like right now, like I like talking about my anxiety now. Like I never, didn't think of it as a big deal, but you guys, I don't know, like on my Snapchat, I see a lot of people go through anxiety. And I see a lot of people that end up in the hospital because they're having anxiety attacks. Mine are not that bad, but I can
Yeah.
only imagine. I can only imagine the shit they're going through, man. Like I can only imagine my anxiety times probably 50, and that's why they're in there.
So Nate, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
I always refer to like my own mental wellness. So who's in your corner?
Mhm.
Who's on your side? I have a group of elders that I talk to after work. I'm a council member of a nation. If I need guidance from people that I need guidance from on certain decisions, I have to learn to leave work at work.
Yeah.
And then when I come home, my job is so. And then, I'm not afraid to say I go to counseling once
Yeah.
every 2 weeks in
Yeah.
virtual counseling. I do Zoom church on a Sunday. You read positive affirmation and books every day to keep that positive mindset. Smudge twice a day. It's because of what I'm going through with my MS that I have to do that all the time. And I just think you have to find what's good and what's going to work for you. And, once you find what's working for you, you kind of find that balance in your life on the mental side.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Hey, Haley, what's some of the younger, like what's your generation? What are they? I mean, are they anxiety because no one's liking their photos, or what? Or what's the sense out there for you?
Well, I think like now, because of COVID, I think they're more aware of mental health and how many students and kids and whatnot are going through depression and stress, so they're getting anxiety and whatnot. I don't know, like society used to be so much when somebody had a mental health like issue or problem, they were thought of like less, or people were like, looking down on them instead of supporting them. And I think now that COVID is here, I think a lot of people have realized it is real and everyone goes through it. And I think a lot of people say, you know what, like I'm fine. one point in your life, you're gonna go through something where your mental health is affected. And us kids, like, we're actually coming together pretty well now, and we've been supporting each other, like checking out each other. Like, I even see it in my school, like we have a pop room now, and like students are more than welcome to just like hop in there and talk about their feelings, what they're going through. But for the longest time, and I'm talking like years and years, probably decades, a lot of students were going through mental health issues, and they were scared that, if I told people, what would they think about me? And not only that, but worrying about the way people might think about you when you're trying to talk about your mental health, whatever you're going through or how you're feeling. It's like you're kind of scared because you don't know what that person's gonna think of you. They're gonna think less of you. And like, personally, for me, for students especially, because we had so many suicides, I think those suicides really brought attention to, like, especially boys, because it wasn't just those who were committing suicide, it was boys as well. And I think there was more awareness through that, because all of a sudden we had these hockey players and we had soccer players who were actually really talking about mental health, because it does matter. And for the longest time, we were ignoring that, and we were, we thought everyone was fine. And when we had those suicides, we really brought attention to what everyone was really going through and how it affected these students. And in a way, I think it really did bring us together, and it brings that connection. But personally, for me, like, even me, I was going through stuff, and I feared like telling people what I was going through, because I didn't want to feel like I was less strong. I didn't want to feel like that I was less than anybody else. And I held it in, and I had anxiety, and it was just like, like, I'm gonna come out about this because I can help somebody when they're going through a tough time or whatnot. Like, I'm more than willing to support you or help you. And I think like the topic is more like, people are more aware of it, like a lot of people kind of ignore that people are going through stuff, and not only us kids but adults as well. And we're always looking at adults for them to be strong, you know what I mean? Like, we look up to them, we expect them to be strong, living their best life. Really, they're not, right? Like,
Haley,
they go through stuff too, and it's like, like,
Haley. Hey, I gotta cut in
What?
there. Your internet, it's getting staticky.
Was it?
Yeah.
I
You
could
gotta
hear
tell
it.
your
It's good,
dad
though.
to log off the hockey game.
Say, Dad, we're having a serious podcast here.
Oh boy! But
Is he
that was really
Edmonton
good.
or Calgary fan?
He's probably stressed if he's an Edmonton fan.
Is it better now?
Never mind, man. I freaking cheer for Ottawa. Don't ask me why. I have no idea. But man, talk about heartache. Holy God.
Oh yeah.
Hey man, these are great conversations, and we had a comment here from my bro Jess Jiz. She goes, it is tough, and it really is. It really is a tough conversation to have. Probably the most difficult conversation to have, because people really don't know how to have that discussion. And that is so true. It's like, how do we get past that, you guys? Like, how do we? What is the secret recipe, I guess, to start normalizing it? Do we just keep talking about it? Is it the hashtag thing, that year kind of thing, or what do we do? What are you guys' thoughts?
I'm working with the WHL right now on diversity, and one of the main issues is mental health, because we're going through a pandemic, and they're doing a Red Cross, I guess, a rollout program on a virtual program, but it's to identify the stressors of what's going on, and then giving the players the opportunity to talk about it. And sometimes you just have to give the opportunities for, whether they're sports or players, to understand what it is and be okay to talk about it with your coaches or parents or your trainers, and just teaching them that avenue is always there for conversation. And I think video and like live streaming, it's so key right now, because everybody's connected during a pandemic and a lockdown. That it's my thoughts, anyways.
Yeah. What about you, Willis?
Yeah, man, there's some good points made there. Going back to, Brent's first.
Oh, sorry, Michael and Brent and Willis, you guys are all we all former hockey players, but I mean, you guys, that, you know what I mean? It's that hockey mentality at the same time, right?
Yeah, and I think those kids, they must be going through lots, Brent, with the WHL. They probably feel like they're missing a year of their opportunity, and they feel like that's the biggest letdown in the world, eh?
Well, it's their livelihood, draft year.
Yeah, you're costing my draft year. Yeah.
20-year-old year that you may not be able to play your final year of hockey. There's a lot going on, right? And it's I'm really trying to put my best foot forward to help the WHL in a diversity part, but a lot of it's mental wellness and just getting the virtual videos out there, getting the Johnny Goudreau's, the Monahans to talk about mental wellness. And it's so important that we have the Kishane, Keyshawn Gervais is one guy that's working with us, but it's important to get these role models talking about the issues, because the kids don't know me, but they know the kids that are playing in the WHL, like the Roddy Rosses or Keyshawn. So
absolutely, yeah. Roddy's from my reserve, but to go all the way from playing Onion Lake Junior B to now being the AHL that fast, it's great. It's great.
Yeah.
What hey Willis, with the treatment centers and everything, like how do they break the ice? That's like, obviously there's a lot of sharing circles, I'm assuming, but what's the process there?
Yeah, there was, every treatment center kind of has their own, what do you call it? Formula, or however you want to. So
just depends on you're in, yeah.
Yeah, they'll go in groups, and you'll have the one I went to. You have lectures. It's kind of like school, going into school, and then you're learning about building that awareness about yourself. Just teaching you your habits, about maybe genetics, all that stuff, and then it's always a safe place. You gotta build that trust. You don't always have to engage, but I find like even this platform, it makes it easy for people to engage, and like see people commenting, like seek counseling. I haven't been in counseling since I quit my job, but I'm in the First Nations University of Canada. And as Indigenous people, we have a lot of resources. I'm amazed at how many resources just the university alone has. Counseling, or these daycare stuff, and yeah, it's not a bad thing to go and talk to a counselor once or twice a week. Going back to Brent's comment there, who you have in your corner, I've been clean a long time, but I still call those couple people every couple weeks just to keep myself in check here. What's going on? Why am I angry at my kid? Why am I getting aggressive? All that is mental health, and yeah, every day, one day.
We actually have a mental health therapist watching. Joni, do you want to call in? I could put my phone number on here, and you can maybe give us your perspective as a mental health therapist. Yeah, I had to get Sonia to mute her mic. I really appreciate you guys coming on. Like, it is, like I said, you guys seem to be open to the conversation. Especially Michael and Willis and Haley, because they got the podcast and stuff. But also to Brent and Sonia, just kind of what you guys are doing, and just helping. Because I know Sonia's starting to post lots of TikToks there. I always see that TikTok. I'm not into TikTok really, but I see TikTok. Sonia posted another video, and you're watching it, and and they're inspiring videos. And literally what helped me, because I went through a depression too, probably about, I don't know, 5 years ago. I went through a bad one. And what started helping me was watching, and I don't know if you guys are like me, but I like watching YouTube inspirational videos. You just hear these guys talking, and you kind of visualize like real deadly shit you're doing. You're not doing it, but you visualize, and it kind of makes you feel better. And like I started doing that like every day, straight motivational videos on YouTube, and then night and day, man. When I was in the shower, I just crank them, and then at night, man, before I go to bed, because you're going to bed, you're waking up with that mindset, and then you're going to bed with that mindset.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's the first thing I tell everyone to do, like especially men, right? Because there is such a stigma around it, and we're put some dirt on it, walk it off for tough guys, da 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 da. But when guys don't want to do anything, that's the first thing I tell them: go to YouTube, find those motivational. They usually got good music behind them too, so you can just put them on and jam out. And even if you're not thinking about it, those messages are still getting in your head, right? So it's a great way to start for sure. That's how I started anyway.
Even when
Am I
you're
still staticky on here?
Doesn't seem like that right now.
you're better now.
Okay, that's good.
That was
what?
really good.
Actually,
You
those
had a lot of good
motivational
points.
Videos, I feel like most of the time they're like yelling, like, you gotta do better, you can do it.
Wow, there's those ones, but there's the ones where the guys like talk and like, they talk in that nice tone, or even there's women talking. It's like a nice tone right to the whole thing, and they're, just saying some good stuff.
It's like Tony Robbins.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tony Robbins is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to find the guy that or the lady that inspires you. And when I was going through the toughest times, I'd actually sleep with that stuff. So it's constantly going in your head. And then you set your alarm clock to your favorite songs in the morning. So when you get up, that music inspires you. And then have a bright light right by your bed. So when those UVs hit you, it starts your day off. And a big glass of water, and having alkaline water, and going outside with your shirt off just to wake up and get your day started. So it's like preparation right from the first 15 minutes is so important to your day, and getting that proper sleep to have the 8 hours sleep.
Oh, and he makes his bed. So awesome. Starts his day off by making his bed.
That's where it all starts.
I do that every morning. Yeah, I get scared when I don't even make an attempt to make my bed. And honestly, it's like, yeah, scary.
I'm pretty bad for not making my bed.
We got a
Get
quick
the
question
boys
here
to school. Okay, I'm up.
KJ Bird. What up, bro? Anyway, Brent, what do you listen to in the mornings? I want to listen to it.
It actually varies, but
hashtag be more like Brent.
Yeah, it varies. KJ, it's to Bob Marley, it's to John Party, it's to everything. So just whatever gets you going. Metallica. It's something that I learned from the kids, and my daughter being so in tune with technology, she just kind of helps me through it, and just do what kind of you feel good about, or what makes you happy. Sometimes powwow music just gets me going like you wouldn't believe, because we all miss powwows or round dances, right? So
I've never been really into round dance music, but I've been helping out with this mosquito grizzly bear head lean man contest, and like helping with the podcast part. But I'm listening to Art Mooseman and Solomon Stone's music, and I'm just like, wow, man, it's good, man. I listen to it once in a while, but I mean, now I'm just like, I'm blasting that all the time. It's like, it's my music right now, eh? And it's gonna become going forward music I'm gonna be listening to. But it mellows you out. It's almost like, can you guys hear me good?
Oh yeah.
What is that tone on YouTube or any kind of music thing? It's like a frequency.
Yeah, just your delta
What is it?
waves, eh? Delta waves and beta waves.
Yeah, but isn't there like a frequency like 432 or something?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I think there's a frequency. Haley, remember we were talking about it in our Four Stats podcast? And there was like a frequency that you could listen to that literally chills you right out. It's supposed to, what is it, like four something? I don't know. There's a frequency that you can play. And I actually tried it 2 nights ago because I couldn't sleep. And it actually worked. It just, I don't know what it does, man. I don't know if it's just a thing that, because they talk about energy as well, right? Like Brent, I think you were talking about one day about energy, but
Yeah.
it kind of connects with that energy, I guess. I don't know.
I use that for brain therapy. I tried brain therapy for what I was dealing with, but they use it on pulses or using your left side to your right side and exercising your brain so it relaxes you. And it just I deal with a lot health wise, but you have to learn certain things to set up so you get quality sleep or your mental I don't watch Sonia watches murders all night and it drives me nuts.
Her and every other woman, isn't it?
Pandemic stuff.
I literally had a podcast last night and I asked this girl, and I said, what is with women wanting to watch murder shit?
Oh,
like,
geez.
honestly, man.
You want killers, you want warriors again. Fuck boys, you gotta be warriors again, boys.
It's actually not good for the soul when you just hear killing and murdering all night. How are you supposed to sleep?
100% I agree with Brent, man. Like, I don't know what is with those podcasts, man, but I hear a lot of women, they like listening to them, like those murder things, man. I'm like, what the hell are you guys listening to that shit for? And they'll listen to it all the time.
Yeah, murder mystery and who killed who and serial killers, Green River Killer. It's an obsession for some people, right, Sonia? Yeah.
I'm obsessed with the show on Netflix, LA's Finest.
Tell me about it.
It's Jessica Alba.
Oh.
Oh, how do you really feel, Nate?
Nice.
Oh man,
not Netflix shows. Go ahead, Willis.
Forensic Files is another good one. It's something about the old man and the voice. I would listen to it at work when I was in Fort McMurray. All night I would have it on till 4 a.m. And but then I was starting to think crazy. I wonder if any of these women are going that way too, because now I'm like thinking maybe I can get away with some of this shit. I can put it all together. I mean, everyone gets caught, but if I can put it all together where they messed up, maybe. I don't know. Maybe
I think it's just personalities. They like watching different types of personalities, or maybe dysfunctional. It's like people watching at the Calgary Stampede. You just love watching people, right? And seeing thousands of people and analyzing them.
Yeah, or Walmart.
Do you guys think that's let's go with that? Like, we got to stick with the mental health here, but I mean, do you think people watching like little things like that is good for you? Like, do you think that's something that's healthy where you're just checking people out? Like, what's your guys' thoughts on that? I personally think it is good because I don't know, it just makes you, I don't know. I think I like to people watch sometimes. Who else is
it's like the Dr. Pimple Popper show.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I love that show.
It's oddly
satisfying. Yeah. Gross as shit, but man, you can watch it.
Yeah.
Like, you could actually be stressed and you could turn into that show and watch a good pussy zit being popped and feel better after.
Oh yeah. My daughter's turned into a pimple popper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jody Gold for mental health is an important topic. Self-care is important. Taking care of yourself, mind, body, and spirit. Yes.
Yeah.
If you guys do want to call in, whoever's watching, 306-717-5395, you can chime in and maybe tell us what you guys think on mental health awareness. We are talking about it. Is Bell's? It's hashtag Bell's Let's Talk Day right now. So that is what we're.
I feel like we should talk about what we are like doing about self-care. Like, what do you do for your self-care? Like, what are you doing to take care of yourself and your mind and your body and your spirit? Like, what do you guys do as adults? Like, what are you guys doing?
All right, I'll start because literally what I do, this is my thing, man. This is my taking care of my mind kind of thing. You know, this podcast, like I was talking to Willis too, and I've talked to other people at the same time. It's kind of like an addiction. Michael, you probably, I don't know if you go through that, but I mean, you know, with a podcast all the time, man. Like if I feel the need to podcast, it makes me feel really good. No matter who's watching, what topic I'm talking about, man. Like at the end of the podcast, man, I'm just feeling really good. You know, for my mind anyway.
Positive endorphins.
Yes.
I agree. I said,
Oh, you hit it. You hit it.
I said to my classmate, I didn't even know it was this mental health day today. And I'm like, tomorrow I got an outline due Friday, but I'm going to take a mental health day and I'm nap when I need to and all that stuff. And I just did my show from 8 to 9 and I'm like, oh man, now I'm good to go. And yeah, I feel good again. But another thing is I just, you know, like going back to calling in your friends or checking in with somebody. It's good self-care, taking care of your body, mind, spirit. And I learned something the other day from a Denny elder about this stuff. And it's so important how, you know, just
What
taking
did
care
you learn, Willis? Sorry.
Oh, it's all about he translated easier. I mean, it's easier for Denny Suthlina to understand, but just about your spirit and how we in our language we use it or how we say it and how it means. It's something you got to be Denny to understand, but like
That's hard enough.
Yeah, it is.
Try us Creed, man. Try us Creed.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then but you know, just like I'll try to best as I can. But he said Ayuna in Dene, it would mean you're crazy or you're calling someone crazy. But what he said was it actually means spirit. And
can you say the Dene version and then try explain the English?
yeah, I can. I think. Yeah, I can do that.
All right.
Cool. So dene hulnide dene kontueg another drugs uxig another day be chalania or be spirite ayune. Yecha be body yecha gahnila. But in kuti 4 days ich chudan die dre yune no it's yana deha. Ayune means spirit. And all this time I didn't know that. I just thought it meant crazy. You know, and I was but what I said was our spirit, it leaves us, you know, when we're not in a good place, like using drugs or alcohol and all this stuff. And it takes 4 days for it to come back, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, just the way he explained it in Denny and using the right words, because everything, we all have stories everywhere, right? I mean, Brent's gonna have his stories, I'll have my stories, and we put them together, and you got a very strong story, you know, stuff like that. It was just, yeah, pretty good to hear it. Yeah, that's all I got.
That's awesome. Hey, Haley, you make a good point all the time when you talk about, you know, kids or youth, and then you talk about adults, how you look up to the adults, right? And especially all of us, like there's so much generational trauma, right, that we have to deal with. And I'm making a really big point to try to put an end to that. I really played into it through my 20s, to say the least. But put an end to that. And my son, wow, so he doesn't have to deal with it as much. I still catch myself like everybody. I even tonight, kind of blow up on him a little bit and feel terrible about it. But I had this conversation with my wife the other day. That's why I say this. Is just we keep forgetting that our parents are growing up with us too. Like now that I am a parent, I still feel like that little voice in my head is like talks to me like I'm 12 still, right? So I keep forgetting because you hold your mom, your dad at such high prestige, and fuck, they're just trying to get through life too, and they're trying to pay bills and try to keep your clothes on you and keep you fed. But you keep forgetting that they're still people. They're still trying to just navigate life and deal with all the punches and deal with everything else. So it's quite it's a really good awakening to have that conversation with my wife and see where her mind was on it as well, and she was thinking kind of the same thing. And it's really interesting when you put it in that perspective, that your parents are still people. They're not just some high mighty things, and they're just trying to get by. So they make mistakes and we hold them. I know I used to hold them, and like every mistake they made, I held it at such high prestige. But you just realize, fuck, there's no manual to this, right? Like everyone just living, trying.
Aren't we just grateful that we have, like, I've got my parents with me, and my grandma's a COVID survivor at 86, and Sonia's mom and dad just got their COVID vaccines. But just grateful that we have our parents or grandparents in our lives right now, and we may not know what tomorrow has to offer, but today we have them, and just enjoy what you got at the moment, and don't let your mind slip too far into 6 months down the road or whatever. Just live in the moment.
That's huge. That's massive. And then even just to go back to what we do for habits, I know if I'm not doing anything, if I just come home, I have a really stressful job, right? I'm a project manager on big commercial construction stuff. So it's kind of all you do is fight all day and put out fires and contracts and whatever else. But I used to just come home and lay on the couch and eat pepperoni or dry meat all night, getting fat, doing nothing, right? And you're just sitting there and you're just stewing in your stuff, eh? Like you're just playing all these stories out in your head. But to your point, Sonia and Brent, like, I mean, just got moving, right? I'm very fortunate in my basement right now. I got like this studio, which is pretty cool. And then I got a whole workout section of like 20 feet of squat rack and weights and stuff. And then I even have a sauna in the corner so I could have a good sweat too, right? So I'm very fortunate, but I set it up that way to know, like, I'm not laying on the couch all night, right? That you come downstairs and do something, whether you get here and talk to you, whether I just work out. Because I know for a fact too, Nate, I always, when I feel that feeling in my stomach, it used to be, needed a chew, but then I quit that. So I don't have that feeling anymore. But now it's like that anxiety ball, and then it comes up in my chest. So I right away just go work out. Like, I mean, I have a squat rack. I just do squats even. You don't have to do anything crazy. But just to get that blood moving a little bit, hey, and just it helps out so much to do that. And then obviously the sauna, to sit in there. You just sit in there and you can either play music or listen. I usually listen to motivational videos while I'm sitting in there, but you just get your mind right and you're sweating out. If you think about it or try to visualize it, you're just sweating out all the shit, like all these terrible feelings, all the weight from the day, everything everyone's saying behind my back. That's all just fucking going down and just sweating it out, and then start the day fresh again, right?
Our coach used to call it sweat the poison out. Sweat the poison out and just start fresh again. That's
perfect.
Somebody said something on the podcast. She was a nice saying. I forget what it is. Anyway, I'll remember. Anyway, I want you guys to welcome Rachel Yakakut. I always get her name wrong. She was also a podcaster, but she actually is into the healing and the energy. Oh, who would lose Haley? Rachel. So introduce yourself, Rachel, real quick.
All right. Thanks. Hello, everybody. Just jumping on here whenever I have a minute, but I'm not sure what's been talked about. But anyways, I'll just introduce myself for a second. My name is Rachel Yakakut. I'm from the Beardies and Okamasis Cree Nation, but I grew up in Saskatoon, and I am an intuitive coach. I also do EFT, which is emotional freedom techniques. So I'm a practitioner and an educator and the creator of Peace, Joy, and ClarityNow.com. I have 2 daughters, a teenage daughter, so mental health is definitely something that is very important in our home, and being a guide for my daughters in that way by taking care of myself and doing my own work, my own healing, is how we kind of do that in our own space. So I'm not sure who everybody is, but it's nice to be here and to share space with everybody here today. So thanks for having me.
Awesome. Thank you for joining. No, it's great because I want to talk about how you focus on energy, right? That's a big thing of yours. Is remember I was telling Haley we were talking about energy and how that all could even relate to I guess even like so Michael, you said you go sit in the sauna and stuff, and I guess that's energy coming in or even releasing. And like you guys brought up the thing, like Brent said, sweating out the poison, right?
Well, it's so important, even to us Indigenous people, right? Like, I mean, we forget about sweat lodges or anything like that, right? And it's there's a reason that we made it this fucking far in life. Like, we got to go back and realize the things that they did, and we got to use those tools, right? Like, I mean, they didn't sit all fucking day on their phones. I know that. So, we're just getting so sedentary now, right? Like, I mean, we got to look back in history and realize what they did, and these were big, powerful men, strong men, warriors. The women were smart, articulate, just all these things, and they kept everything going and got us to where we're at, and we got to get back to that somehow.
Man, it's the guy I was just talking to on my show. He said the same thing. He said the people that lived before us, they lived through, no technology, a shitter in -40, and and going on a dog sled to a trap line, and then you got to get there and stay in a cabin, make a fire, all this stuff. You got to acknowledge all that stuff, and then say, hey, I'm Dene, or I'm Cree, or I'm whatever you are. That's that little piece in you. That's and it's so right. And if we don't deal with that, we can go and do all this stuff. I always find that. But if we don't deal with what's at the very bottom, some days that sauna or that it's not gonna cover it. So something is always, we gotta acknowledge all these little things. And it's funny.
Yeah, Nate Willis, you're so blessed to have your language. There's a lot of intergenerational trauma where we weren't blessed, and we almost have an extinct language in Tsuut'ina. We're Dene too. There's only 26 speakers left, but you're so blessed to be fluent in your language, and good for you. And when we're healing, when I was going through my healing journey, that's what helped me was the prayers. And it doesn't matter if it's church or ceremony. I go to both. Don't shame people for what they're trying to do to help their mental wealth. I've had former leaders, like talking down on churches, and I always said, if they're healing, let them heal the way they want to heal. Churches, ceremonies, positive books. And then going back to the culture was important for me. I have a teepee in my backyard. I put money into it because I wanted to connect again, cutting teepee rails, getting firewood, making dry meat. I feed the elders. I go hunting. I don't let my MS get in the way. I go back to who I am as a native Dene person, and that helps me heal every day. If you can find what's helping you heal and build on it every day, like I want to become fluent like you, Willis. I'm very proud of you.
Thank you. Yeah, I was trying to get in touch with someone, and then Nathan, the OG here, said, "Hey, Brent Dodging Horse is going to be on my show. He's from Tsuut'ina Nation, and I got someone from Arizona. Hopefully, he gets situated. And I would like to, get in contact with you, and we can chat later about that for sure."
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, Sonia, how do you deal with some of this stuff? I know you got your partner and your man that you're helping with as well. But what do you do to help with some of that?
I'm just checking to see if my microphone's working first. Testing 1, 2, 3. Is it crackling?
It's not bad.
Good.
It sounds
You're good. You're good to go.
Is it good? Okay, so I just kind of wanted to chime in on the intergenerational trauma and effects. And I think it's so important to understand, learn the past, to understand the present and why we are the way we are and our people and how it affected our whole communities from the intergenerational effects. My parents both went to residential school, and it wasn't until recently, about last year, that my mom shared her experience about residential school. And I had no idea what happened to her back then until she opened up then. And she's still starting to talk more. She's 82 years old. She'll be 82 in May. But, you know, for a long time, I carried her voice with me. And I didn't know I was behaving the way I did and carrying her voice. Like sometimes it was harsh and rude, and those were all learned effects from residential school, right? Because they had to build this wall, this strength to endure residential school. And so sometimes we were raised in a harsh way, right? They didn't say I love you, they didn't say I care about you, they didn't say I'm proud of you.
Fuck, all she did was check for my
so
life.
Yeah, so growing up with that, it plays on your mental health. And so I developed some issues myself. I developed an eating disorder at like 18 until 28. And then I had my daughter in 2006. And, you know, she was my light in my life. But you know what saved me was, you know, looking in the mirror and asking God for help. I was like, okay, God, I don't want to feel like this anymore. Can you please help me? And then my daughter and my horses and goals, you know, all those things turned my whole life around. Nutrition, I learned about food, exercise, and how to deal with things on a daily. I have a motivational playlist I have on my phone that I play in the car or when I'm working out. I know I don't pray as much as I should, like with Brent on Sundays, or go to church, but I do smudge and I pray every day with my children. I'm a teacher. And so, you know, growing up, we never had those conversations because we were afraid to, and there was no one to talk to, really. You know, it was hard, and my daughter, she was getting scared of me because sometimes I'd carry my mom's voice with me as well, and I didn't want her to be afraid of me, afraid of talking to me, and so our whole relationship has changed as a mother and daughter. And you know, and we keep an open communication, so important, because I didn't have that growing up.
Sorry, you guys, I got a
Can you
call
hear
here. Yeah, hello.
Yeah.
It's Haley.
Okay, Haley. Sorry.
I'm just listening.
Okay. Haley had to bow up because her res Wi-Fi cut her off. Res Wi. If anyone listen to us, hashtag res Wi-Fi. Stop it.
Well,
Sonia, those are such good
Sonia, and
points.
she has amazing points.
Yeah, go ahead.
I love it.
Go ahead.
Are you telling me to go ahead?
I'm telling you, go ahead.
Oh, okay. No, but I think it's so important to understand where we came from and how to move forward positively with carrying on with your mental health. It's so important to take care of your body and your mind. And when you release those endorphins, the things that make you happy is what helps your mind, your body, your spirit. And so you have to capture that spirit back. And yeah, so I think that's it.
A lot of that hits home because I understand what you say with the tone. I do the same thing with my kid. I know I see it. It's like I'm outside my body and I see it because I remember my mom, really nice lady, but there's like whether it's drinking, whether she had a few drinks or she's really mad at you, like there's a tone that switches because it's a weird thing, right? And it's obviously she had to deal with that where the way she grew up as well, right? With those what the heck kind of schools? Those convent schools. Her father went to her dad went to a residential school. Then she had to go to those convent schools, right? So it was quite interesting. And then I joke, but I mean I'm serious. Fuck, it was like she checked for my lice like every couple of days. It's like, is this all you guys did in those schools or what? But yeah, never had lice ever, so no worry, you can come visit. But yeah, no, I understand that.
That's why you shaved your head.
Never mind. I'm taking it on my son now. The poor guy. He's only 4. He's got hair down to I don't even know where it is now. It's middle of his back.
Yeah. And Rach, what do you think about all this?
I'm just listening. I like to listen and learn. I like the point that Brent made about, there's no right or wrong way to heal. It really is what resonates for people, what feels good. I don't really believe in right or wrong anyway at this point in life. So I just believe that everything is an experience, and we can choose what kind of perception we want to have about that. Whether you think that's something that was bad that happened to you, or it was something that happened for you. That really makes a difference in the way that you can perceive things in your life and how you can move forward from that. So I work with a lot of people around not just like energy stuff and healing, but it's around the reprogramming of conditioning, right? Of our minds being conditioned the way that they were when we were small. And, we talk about mental health, and it's very heady. It's very, it's your head, it's your mind, get it right, this and that. It has anxiety, depression, all of these things. But, I'll tell you this, I dropped out of grad school last year. I was in grad school to become a counselor or psychologist, and I just couldn't handle it. I was like, this is bullshit. And this is no knock to anybody that's in the mental health field. Like I said, everybody has their role. But for me, it was very, it was lacking a lot of holistic, includes like the way to include everything that we're these human beings that have a mental aspect, emotional aspect, spiritual aspect, physical aspect, right? And mental health is very heady. Well, do this so you can, you think this so you can feel this way, or if this will help you not feel depressed and blah blah blah. Whereas a lot of the things that come from that, especially anxiety, is when we're not feeling rooted. We're not feeling rooted to the earth. We're not rooted to a foundation or something that we were lacking when we were kids, right? Our parents were the ones that were our caregivers, and they're giving us this, they're setting us up for life, survival, providing for us, protecting us, making sure we have everything that we need, loving us. And when we don't have that and we experience those kinds of childhoods, that is so important when it comes to mental health, because if you experience that, there's a good chance that you're suffering from something like anxiety and something like depression, because you don't have that root, that safety to the earth to feel at home and good in your body. You don't feel like you can do something and you have everything provided for you. It's all learning, I have to do this to get this. How am I going to pay for this to stay here? And when we experience that when we're small, we end up creating situations and look for the same kinds of experiences throughout our lives to reflect that same feeling. So when I work with people, when it comes to anxiety and depression and those kinds of heavier, denser emotions, a lot of the commonalities are they didn't have parents that protected them or kept them safe. They were abandoned. They dealt with, things like addiction. They were always like, I don't know, for me, we were always moving all the time, and my mom was in and out of jail. So we were like, go, 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 go. Like there's no fucking calmness. There's no peace. There's no, like, I can relax in this space and feel good and feel, connected to myself and know who I am, because you have no idea when you're going to go again. Right. So when people are coming from these environments and they're not rooted and in who they are and know how to take a deep breath and come back into their heart space and to ground, just by like touching the ground. There's like little things that we can do. It's so important to move out of that kind of, those stigmas around anxiety and depression and feeling like you're going to have this for the rest of your life. I don't believe that. I absolutely do not believe that. I think it's like when you're rooted, you can release things. And when you can release things, you remember things. You remember who you are. You remember your power that you have. You can choose to think different thoughts. You can choose to feel different. Then you can reprogram yourself. And then you raise your energy. You embody that. You can pick peace over chaos, things like that. So when we talk about mental health, I just think that it's such a big spectrum. But Brent also said mental wealth. And I don't know if that was like something that you meant to say or not, but that's exactly what I believe. I love that you said that, because it is mental wealth. Like our mind and what we believe about ourselves and what we believe about the world that we live in and other people is so important that it literally is creating our reality. So when you say mental wealth, absolutely, it's the most important thing. It's our consciousness is the most important asset that we have. And when we tap into that, when we know who we are, when we connect to that, when we elevate that, then that is when things like mental health don't have so much power over us.
Wow.
Man, that's like a mic drop. Pick up a mic and just like boof.
No.
Wow.
You know how much they cost. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Rachel, you're awesome.
Don't break your glass or your mug.
Thanks, Haley. Love you, Haley.
Nice.
I hope you guys know, and understand how much of an impact that you as adults can make on kids and youth, because of course we look up to you guys, and I think it's so important for you guys to share your emotions and your feelings, because as adults, us kids are always gonna, we look up to you, we want to be like you, that's where we want to go. And so everything that you're saying, that's going to impact us, and how, instead of holding our feelings in, because we're always scared to tell about our feelings and our emotions and whatnot. But when you start speaking about what you're going through and your trauma and how you're feeling, depression, anxiety, once you express that, you're automatically impacting all these youth so that they feel like they're safe. Okay, well, this adult just literally spoke all these words about how they were feeling and whatnot. Maybe I can come out and say something how I'm feeling. Maybe I should, let it go. And I think it's so important that, adults are actually talking about their feelings now, because, adults go through so much crap, and we literally will blanket what they go through because we expect them to be so strong and they have everything together. They're adults. But I think as kids, we're scared and we fear about, telling other people what we're going through, because we don't want to change that perception, that how other people perceive us. And for us to be able to feel safe about, other people, how they're going to support us, it's automatically a life changer. It's a game changer, because once these students and youth, especially in schools, once they're talking about this, more and more people are going to feel more connected to their communities. They're going to feel like, okay, I have so much support. Everyone's going to support me. I'm not alone. And that's what's important, is that, it's important you don't feel alone. And I think, personally for me, my mental health was so bad because I was so stuck in the past. And that's why I was getting my anxiety, because I wasn't in the present. And that's where I was getting my anxiety from, was because I was so stuck on the past. And I was so worried about what other people were going to think of me. Were they going to think less of me? Okay, Haley, you're supposed to be a public advocate. You're supposed to be strong and influential, motivational. And once these people know that maybe you're going through something, maybe they're going to look at you different. And I said, no, you know what? Because everybody goes through things, and it's not okay to just, hide your emotions and hide what you're going through. If you're going through something, share, because those emotions are going to bottle up and it's really going to affect you. And it's just so important to know that you can't change the past. You literally can't. And you have to be in the present. If you're not in the present and you're worrying about the past all the time, you're just going to feel stuck. You're going to feel stuck. And I'm so glad that we have so many people out there who are coming about and sharing their stories and their feelings and saying, you know, it's okay to be like feel that way. It is okay. And don't feel like you are alone, because you're not. And I'm so glad that you guys are having this conversation and realizing how important mental health is, and bringing the awareness to this. Like us, like I hope there's some kids on here that are watching you guys, because you know, I didn't know that you guys, like, especially like Nathan, I didn't know that you had that anxiety. Like if I would have known that, like, you know, like things like that. Now that I know that, like, know that we're so supportive, we're always gonna be here, and just self-care is so important, you know, and mental health is really a mentality thing. So if you're not taking care of yourself, if you're not taking care of your body, if you're not getting out of bed, and you know what, getting out of bed every day, that is what's the word? I don't know, but you know, some people go through so much stuff and they fight and they fight. And getting out of bed every day is hard for some people. And I am so proud of the people that get out of bed every day and put a smile on their face and spread love and spread joy, because it is hard when you are going through something. And I would just like to acknowledge that. Like, I'm proud of everyone who can just get out of bed every day when they don't even have the motivation to. Like, yes.
There's another mic drop there, Dave.
Who wants to follow that up?
Oh,
I want you guys to know Haley is only 17. Like this is
Wow.
what, like,
Yeah.
man, the way she thinks, it's like cook amaze already. Just smart and brilliant and awesome words, Haley, man.
Well, I think you have more to say when you've been through it, right?
Yeah.
So you can't really talk about it unless you've been through it. So when you know how it really is, and you've actually experienced it, and you know went through all those struggles and those obstacles, you know how to help others. You know what to tell other people to help them and support them, because you've been there, right? So you know what it feels like. You know when people are quiet and they're actually going through things. Like for me, man, like everyone thought I was okay because I'm so outgoing and I'm smiling all the time, but usually it's those people who are going through the most stuff. And
Yes.
that's what we ignore that.
Yeah.
And we just like, oh, those people are so happy, you know, they're always spreading love and whatnot, but it's usually those people that are going through the tough times and going through the most crap.
So going with that, do you think we should, and awesome words, Haley, man, like sometimes I just forget you're 17 and like the knowledge you spit out, man, it's just like, holy shit. But going forward, like just speaking about that, while she was saying that, I was thinking about Robin Williams and what's that dude that cooked on TV on CNN?
Yeah. He had that traveling show too, eh? Yeah.
Yeah, like him, like these guys all just seem like cool, like especially Robin Williams, like all those guys who people, I guess, you know, that committed suicide and they perceive that
Chris
always
Farley.
always good, right? Like I don't like does that what I'm trying to say is like should we look at people that are like overly happy, or is it like that? That's what I'm asking. Like it's the really happy ones all the time.
It's tricky, but exactly what everyone's been saying too is just to talk and get it out, right? And find someone that you can confide in, and knowing that it's not going to be, you know, you're not going to be put down, or even if you are, it's not going to be too far or too long, and you just bounce right back anyway. We're very resilient people. Like I always think of that when Jordan Tatusis, his brother, unreal hockey player, all these things, right? And then got himself in some trouble, got a 0-8, and then just felt like he had no options, and that was his only way out, which is, it just sucks because there's always options, man. Like it just
nothing anymore.
Yeah, Mike, and when you talk about that, you know, being a former hockey player and being supposed to make the NHL and supposed to be like this up and coming guy, and going through depression of not playing hockey and not making it, you're tough on yourself. You're battling your brain, you're battling your mind and your emotions. You cover it with addictions, you cover it with, you name it, alcohol and what it may be. But part of your healing journey is having that conversation with your your soul and your mind, and just praying for understanding. And it wasn't a psychiatrist, it wasn't a doctor that helped me through it. It was a Sioux man that helped me pray for understanding of where I am in the life and where I was in the past, and to accept it. And once you accept it and you learn from it, you're just at peace. And it's so cool to, like, everybody has their own ways of healing, but it was a guy that gave me advice in South Dakota. And it's just, I just pray for acceptance every day, or understanding. Even with this pandemic, it's continually just understanding and accepting it.
No, 100%.
Definitely.
No,
Yeah, and if you're in like a state of resistance, then there's no space for peace in that. So if you find yourself really feeling resistant to things, and resistant to feeling anxious, and resistant to feeling depressed, and resistant to feeling, even anger and resentment, like, we're always told, like, I don't know about you guys, but when we showed anger, like, I grew up in a very violent home as a child, but then when I was older, those same violent people would say, "Hey, careful. You don't want to get angry. Don't act angry like that. People will see you act angry like that." And that made me super angry, like super angry, or I was like, hated the world. I was fighting people, especially men. I would get in like physical fights with men. I struggled with alcohol and drugs and things like that, but I was so angry. And then I was angry that I wasn't allowed to fucking be angry. And that really pissed me off. And so if you're resisting the fact that you're angry about something, that's only going to make you feel worse. Accept that you feel angry, allow yourself to be angry, or to be sad, or to be, whatever it is that you're feeling. The sooner you do accept that and acknowledge it and let it be what it is, the sooner that it leaves you.
That's a great point. I know for myself, to find that peace where I really feel, obviously no one's perfect, and I still obviously slip up a lot. I just really got to a place where I'm okay with death. I had a lot of, I don't know, just a lot of time, a lot of thinking, a lot of, to be honest, just a clear mind without drinking all the time and not being hungover or drunk most of the freaking week. But just become okay with it. And once I accepted that and know that, we're all going to die, and especially us here, like I say, we come from a long line of warriors. We made it here for a reason. And just to be okay with that, there's all those natives, they always like, hey, today's a good day to die. And then they go do whatever they're going to do. Right. And it's amazing how that just frees you. Like, I used to have so much anxiety or so much tension in my body all the time because I was always worried about, again, what people think, or what I got this bill to pay, I got this to do, I got that to do. Whereas now that it's like, what can you take from me? You know what I mean? Like, as long as I got my wife and son upstairs, like, I don't give a shit what you do, right? Or no, the society can't do anything to me, right? So
yes,
frees you so much. I'm so much lighter because of that. Helps that I lost all that pepperoni weight, but it just lightens you up so much.
Fuck yeah, I love that.
We're losing two from the res connections.
The res Wi-Fi.
Special day. Holy cow!
Res Wi-Fi.
Yeah,
Hey, you still there?
I'm still here, and I'm just amazed. I am just amazed because, you know what? Like, so many men out there don't express their emotions or their feelings. And I think it's so important that you guys are actually, comfortable, because it takes a lot of guts to be a man. I'm not a man, but like, when you're a guy, like, everyone expects you to be so strong and be so tough. But like, once you let other people know how it really is, and that you go through shit too, like, you really do. And I think, like, for you guys to be able to like share your story and share that you have anxiety, or that you were, struggling, that is so impactful. Like, I know there's so many guys out there who are young too, who are scared to share their emotions and their feelings because they're so worried about what other people would think.
Haley,
you to just like
I'm going to
sorry?
interrupt you real quick. Haley created something in her school for, was it mental health or suicide awareness?
Mental health, yeah. I did a lot of mental health
And
work in my school.
And can you tell majority or who all showed up that you weren't even expecting? Because I remember you telling me that in your podcast.
Yeah. So I did a mental health workshop in my school. I go to the North Battleford Comprehensive High School. And this was around the time when we had, I think we had 5 suicides. And then we had some seniors who committed suicide. And a lot of students were going through a tough time. And so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna throw a workshop, and I actually got help from Alyssa Woodrow, and she's watching this right now.
Yeah, she's going crazy in her comments.
She helped me. She was actually the former junior citizen too, and so I reached out with her, and we put on a workshop. And one of the hockey coaches, there was a hockey coach. His name is what's his last name? His last name is Cole, and he was one of the hockey coaches for a house league team or Bantam, I believe it is. And he said, you know what? My boys would love to come to your workshop. And I was like, no way. And so we had this workshop, and I'm telling you, majority of those people at that workshop, we had 7 boys, I think, show up because they really wanted to hear what I had to say about mental health. And I was like, wow, are you kidding me? These boys really wanted to come here and get, they were hockey players. I would have never expected them to show up, and they showed up there, and they weren't just there just to get the money that I was offering, the little honorarium. They were there because they really wanted to listen. And I could just tell that, they were going through stuff because they did lose one of their friends, and it was awesome to see, and I felt so inspired. And honestly, it kind of broke my heart to see those boys show up because I was like, wow. I wish other people could have saw that you guys were here, because I was I couldn't believe it. I was like, holy crap, you guys are here right now. You know what? Share what you're going through. I hope you have, I hope you feel supported here. It's such a safe spot for you to share whatever you're going through. And I was just amazed that these hockey boys came and showed up and were like, I want to be here. I want to listen and, bring that awareness, because there's such a big stigma where, boys are supposed to be tough and whatnot. And they were just like, no, we'll tell you how it really is. We go through stuff too.
Yeah. To generalize that whole thing with basically what Haley was saying, what I'm getting out of it is you guys just got to start something. If you guys, whoever, and I say you guys, I mean anybody that's watching this or is going to watch this, start a podcast. If you don't want to do that, if you don't want to talk in front of people, maybe start a workshop, a virtual workshop for now, but when things get normal, start a workshop just like Haley did. And, just start something, because there are so many people that are waiting for people to start something like that so they can come there and shed their story, whatever they got, but just come and give that space where they need to be. You know what I mean? And be in that space so they feel safe, and then they can start letting out what is eating them alive or whatever. You know what I mean?
Are there, depending on obviously what community, but are there men's groups?
There, in my reserve, there is men's group. It's once a month, I think. It was once a month. They go out and just whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was.
What about an online community right now? What kind of where things are?
There's one I know of. I can.
Yeah.
He's an elder. I think he lives in Kamloops. I think every Monday. I'll share it on Nathan's page, but I'm gonna go and get to bed here. So I really enjoy meeting all of you, and thanks for having me, Nathan. And I really enjoyed listening to everyone's. This is just another 12-step meeting. It's something like that. Live. It's not very anonymous because we're on a public platform, but this is what you need. You don't need to be, you just need to be a human being that's willing to share your story. And I appreciate Brent, Rachel, Haley. You're a young, amazing woman, and the stuff you do. Yeah, I didn't even met you. I'm sure we're going to be working together on some of
She's coming on the podcast. Remember, we were going to do a 24-hour. Haley was going to come on.
So thank you for sharing everything. Masi chose the Daruta and Deni Yate podcast. And thanks, Nathan, for having me. Good night.
Night, Willis.
See you, Willis.
Yeah,
That's
man.
awesome, Nate.
Oh,
It's funny with the guys too, because everyone thinks you're so strong, hey? Like you're tough, you don't want to talk about anything, you're this, you're that. But once you open up and you get your feelings out, that's what makes you strong. And then I used to always try to keep that in so that no one could use it against me in an argument or a fight or anything like that, right? But now you get it out there and it's like, hey, you're useless, you're alcoholic, you're this, you're that. And you're like, yeah, well, I am, but here I am, right? And you take away all that ammunition from people to put you down, and you're just building yourself up that much stronger, and you are stronger for it.
Yeah.
yeah.
No, we have a lot to offer. Go ahead, Rach.
I was just going to say, be mindful of when people are projecting too, right? Like projecting their own stuff and their own, insecurities and things that they're struggling with onto you and onto other people. And you'll know when that's happening when you have a lot more self-awareness about what it is that you're experiencing and what isn't yours, right? So we have to practice having discernment. Someone in your home is in a bad mood, or they're triggered, or something is going on, and you can feel that. And then maybe they say something to you, or they take something out on you. Well, you can decide if you want to take that on and then react in response to that. However, right? So it's about having discernment, paying attention to if other people are projecting their shit onto you, because that's not yours to take, right? And if that happens in a lot of places too, and in relationships and with our children and with young people are saying things, and then other people are taking that on and believing that about themselves, or believing that like, oh, did I do something wrong? Or, what is this about? And then they start to feel bad, and they start to feel all down and this and that. But you have to really practice self-awareness. Is so, so, so important when it comes to mental health, because if you don't know, what's going on with you, you don't know what's ticking you off, you don't know what your triggers are, then, who's going to do that work? You are responsible to heal yourself. You are responsible for healing your triggers. You are responsible for catching yourself when you react to something. You're responsible for, the thoughts that you think, the words that you speak, the actions that you choose to play out. You're responsible for that, nobody else. And so when a lot of people don't like to hear that, right? I'm not going to take accountability. That's not my problem. That happened. I'm this way because my parents, or that did that. It doesn't work that way. It absolutely does not work that way. All that does is keep you on a wheel, spinning in circles, feeling the same way, going over the same things, experiencing the same things, the same fights, the same trauma, the same drama, the same chaos. That's it. So it's either you jump off the wheel, the hamster wheel that's you're running around, blaming people and putting things onto, and, you made me feel this way and you're making me mad. No. Jump off the wheel. Come back, learn about yourself, learn about who you are, what's hurting you, what's making you sad, why are you so angry? Like, you got to start there. Self-awareness is key to helping you shift any kind of mental health issue that you're going through.
That's awesome.
Just so full of knowledge, Rachel.
It's like Haley said, because I've been through it. I literally had extreme anxiety, depression, suicidal thoughts, like all of it, alcohol, drugs, you name it. And nothing ever, ever, ever changed until I decided to fucking change myself. To not even change myself, till I decided to stop and learn how to love myself.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. It's when you stop and you learn how to love yourself and just give yourself all the things that you maybe never had, and stop expecting other people to give that to you.
I agree. I agree so much. These last coming up 3 years, March will be 3 years, is kind of when I ended a relationship, but I didn't know it would be in these last 3 years where I was finding myself, so to speak. Just finding out more about who I am, what the shit I did that was unhealthy, and was there really any healthy thing in there I was doing, and getting my shit together. Maybe like I am working on myself, but I mean it mentally I thought I was okay, but in these last 3 years, I quit smoking. I don't really drink anymore. Never was really a big drinker, but I mean I don't drink to drink now. It's just like I'll have a beer here and there, but just overall in the last 3 years I've learned to more or less let go of the shit that I thought was important, like people, what they thought of me and shit. Like a lot of that, man. Like Michael, you were saying, it's a lot off you. And it's so true, even at our age, people hear that, my age, and I know you guys are a little bit younger, but, talking about that and hearing, because you think, you hear like the older you get, you always hear that saying, like the older you get, the less you care what people really think about you. It kind of is true, but there is a lot of people out there still that are a lot older, my age, but that will still not do stuff because they still give a shit what people think. You know what I mean? They will care that their happiness is not as important, but they want the other people to be happy instead. Does that make sense? Like their life is kind of going to revolve around whatever these other people think about them, even as we are older.
Massively, and that's what puts us in such
life crisis.
Go ahead, Haley.
Oh, you go, Haley. You're probably way wiser.
Oh, no.
So drop some of that teenage wisdom.
Well, I'm just glad that you didn't try like numb the pain. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
a lot of people who have addictions are numbing their pain with the drugs, with the alcohol, and that's important that you're not doing that. That you're just accepting what you're going through at the moment instead of running to drugs or running to alcohol. Because what you're doing is you're numbing that pain.
You know what
right?
I did though? You know what I did do? I was gambling like a fiend. Like major gambling. Like hardcore, man. Like that was my life,
or what? You weren't just chasing the ace?
No, I wasn't just chasing the ace, man. I was chasing like the bonuses, all that other shit, and then it just, man, yeah, gambling is just as bad as any other addiction, man. Like it just brings you so much blah. It just it's such an unhealthy thing.
Well, a lot of it makes sense now, Nate. If you're talking about these last 3 years and the stuff you've been going through, and you get little bouts of anxiety, it all makes sense, man. Of course it does. Do you notice anything that triggers you, or that cause, like say tonight, tonight, right? What did you notice anything, or why?
I don't know. Oh, you know what? Shit, to think about it, I think it's all the money I'm about to give away. If that makes sense. I don't know. Like, because we're about to give away possibly 40,000, right?
That's
100%.
I mean?
I don't know. Because my first anxiety, the first time I ever got anxiety was literally 3 years ago. I think it was 3 years, maybe 2. When I first started this Chase Chase craze. And then we were at like $100,000. I wasn't worried about all the people watching me because I didn't give a shit. Like, I had people surrounding me, and then there was like 2,000 people live and everything. It wasn't that. It was thinking about the money. I literally just thought about that. Like, it's just it literally is coming together now. Like I just thought about that, all that money. Holy shit. Mind blowing.
Well, you seems like you turn that pain into motivation.
Yeah.
You got a reward out of that pain, and it's like, don't cry just to quit. Like, cry to keep going. Like, literally, turning that pain into motivation is the best thing that you can do for yourself. And like getting a reward out of it, it is really actually rewarding. It is.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And now all my ambition goes into here, and now, I guess that is my reward. Is like I'm putting the onus on me to push out podcasting. That's my thing. To bring on as many people. So like like Rachel and Haley and Raymond and now teaming up with Dene Ate there, and having a podcast with Michael, and just like that's my thing. I think hearing the stories of Haley, Rachel, Michael doing what you're doing with the thing, that I think that's a big thing for our mental health. You know what I mean? Because I know so many people out there, just like what Michelle says, imagine having comments and you're not knowing who you're affecting, but in a good way, having important and valuable conversation, Say sometime you don't even know. Say you're having a fun podcast. Like remember that time, Rachel? We last week I think it was. We were just shooting the shit and talking about just I don't know what we were talking about. It was going all over. But what if there was somebody there that was actually watching there that we didn't even know and took something out of a valuable lesson?
The Whack podcast.
The Whack podcast. It brought out something in them in a positive way, right?
Well, wasn't it Cal? I thought he was going to get a date, and then it never worked out.
Yeah.
But yes, I agree. You just never know. We never know the other, the receiver part, but I always trust and believe that if we're meant to hear something and align with something, and the people that are meant to hear that and align with that are going to be there. They're going to show up. It's going to be how it just comes together, because I think everything is divinely orchestrated. So
yes. Yeah, man, I think I seen one of the comments here. I can't remember who was saying. You saying she has an issue, and it's not an issue, but about basically, someone's microwaving something.
Oh, I'll mute. That's my daughter. Sorry.
Okay. Kidding, throwing it out. But they're saying about the hashtag Bell Let's Talk, and that it's only one day. And it's true. Don't we think we should turn it into a monthly thing even? It should be every single day, but let's be honest, it's that's like if it would take a toll on someone if they had to do that thing every single day. But maybe, it should be like a once a month thing, that it's like hashtag Bell Let's Talk, or hashtag let's talk about something about mental health, right?
Oh, exactly. And as much as, for me anyways, I hate big corporations and this and that, but at least it sucks it has to be Bell doing this, but at least they're getting it out there, and they have the reach to a lot of celebrities and people that they put on such pedestals, right? And people are starting to break those, letting their stories out, right? And that's the big thing. In here is really important though, because all the Aboriginals, right? And you always feel like you have nothing to turn to, and you're always kind of felt like a second-rate citizen for most people anyway. And to know that there is people out there in extreme, like Haley, and I know we bang on that, but like to be so smart, articulate, and all these different things at this age, and just to show that you can be that person, and to get it out there to for more people to see it, right? Because I'd never seen any of this shit growing up. It's amazing, right? And
it would be awesome to see this.
You're a huge leader in this. You're the push, right? You're the one doing all this, and people see that. And I have huge respect for you. I know we haven't even met yet, but like I say, just massive respect for what you're getting out there. And you're just, even if it's one life, right? That's all it takes. That's all it is.
And that's what they teach you. You back, Brent?
I'm back.
All right. Oh, it looks like he's got good Wi-Fi too. Must went to the Chiefs house. But hey, Michael, that you just said that even if it's one life, going when you're in university and social work, that's literally what they tell you. If you saved one life through your whole career, it makes it all worth it. I mean, and I guess that even goes going with this podcast. Like if we help save one person, the rest of your life with this podcasting is worth it, right? You know, these conversations, it's all worth it. It's so every life is super important, but it's true if you just help one person, you know, talking
And,
about it. Whatever.
and then also, like, if you help yourself, imagine all the people you're helping. You're helping your kids, you're helping everybody that comes into contact with you throughout your entire life, because you're coming from a place that is true, and that's, you know, the true who you are, true to what you maybe that's more about like love and peace and joy and whatever it is that you really want to embody and express. When you want to help people, it's usually because you have a passion to serve, right? And because you care about other people, and because you can empathize. And if you have that, is make sure you have that for yourself. I think that's super important, because there's a lot of, and you see this, I saw this as a teacher, you know, working in these schools with, you know, Indigenous students coming for all of these, you know, packed bags of stuff that they come from home with. And then we have these teachers that are really trying to do their best, showing up for these kids, but also being triggered all the time, you know, overworked, exhausted, tired, and maybe not so much support for that. And, you know, we end up hitting this wall. We get stressed, we get stagnant, no matter what it is we choose to do. So it's like when we are just always giving, pushing, you know, all of that energy outside of us, like a cup, right? If you don't fill up your cup, you got nothing to give to other people. So you got to come back and reconnect, you know, and remember that helping yourself is really helping other people too.
Yeah, somebody commented in there about uniqueness and purpose, and I had the pleasure to work with 4 chiefs in my time on my nation, and the chiefs had always told me everybody has a place in this world. You just have to find that place and that meaning, because you just kind of you learn it that it doesn't matter if people are living in their lifestyles of craziness or good, healthy people. Everybody has a purpose on the nation. Everybody has a purpose in this lifetime. We just have to find it. And when you do find it, it becomes so, there's like a harmony and a balance where you're just living in the moment and you're just living a positive lifestyle. And once you find it, it's really unique that you just start setting your goals and you just start doing bucket list stuff. And, you know, it's almost like you have these plans, but you're just geared towards doing the things that really matter to you and your family or who's close to you.
100%.
I like that bucket list, man. That should be. I wonder if that's something everyone should try.
Do you have bucket lists? Like, do you guys like? I practice that. Like, I plan
the
stuff.
Bucket list.
Yeah.
Like, is it a forever going thing, or do you have like a top 10 kind of thing?
Well, I kind of mark it for like the season because of what I deal with, and some people that have MS aren't doing so good, and I know where it can take me, so I just take everything every day, every moment, and I live it. But my bucket list is to snowboard in the mountains, heli skiing, so I'm training to do that. Another one's Harley Davidson. I went out and traded my Skidoo and got a Harley Davidson. Then my next one after that is I've got these plans, but you know, you just got to do the things you want to do in this world, in this lifetime, and not worry about the past, but just do what you got to do, because you're going to make yourself happy.
Totally. Yeah.
Harley Davidson, man. Oh,
Those are all
Wi-Fi again.
Those are like really extreme things on the bucket list, like heli skiing and shit. I'm like, I want to learn how to swim. It's like real
Never
simple.
mind. Is that a fucking native thing or what? Because I had to take private swimming lessons so I could swim. I'm a fucking grown man in a pool I'm taking private lessons so I can swim with my son.
I love it. That's amazing. Good
There's
for
a bucket
you.
list for you. Yeah. Not
for
scared of
you.
water at all. I love water, love boats, love all that stuff. Just never learned how to swim.
Yeah. Neither. I failed like red when I was 9, and then I could swim, but for as I got older, I just didn't like the feeling of holding my breath under the water because I used to suffer from so many panic attacks, and I think it just like created a lot more anxiety around that. So I said, okay, 40 before 40, like I'm doing this shit when I'm going to learn how to swim. So I got 2 years.
Awesome. That bucket list is huge though, man, especially for Aboriginals where you feel like you got no options, right? There's tons of options. There's so many things you can do. And I know myself, I'm a prime example of that, where I don't like, I have things I want to do and I have a lot of goals, but man, my life has been a bucket list, to be honest. I've been so fortunate in my life to do and try so many things. And I equate a lot of that to my mom, where she was always there for just telling, like, just do it. Just do it. Like, I mean, I think she probably had a lot of repressed feelings on that, where she didn't get that, I don't think. So then, just fucking do it. Do whatever you're going to do and have fun with it and go with it. Right. And, doubling back on that now with my mom, I'm so fortunate where I hit that spot now where it's been a few years, but she's no longer like my mom, really. Like, I mean, she's obviously still my mom, but we talk more as friends now, and we have such great conversations. And I learned a lot more about her life and her upbringing and different things. And it puts everything in perspective for me of where she came from and why I had the experiences as a kid that I had because of the shit that she went through. Right. And again, she was just doing the best she could with what she had. And a bunch of little fucking assholes running around. So I don't blame her for being mad all the time. But no, it just makes everything so much better when you do have that support system. So if you're not getting it from your parents, or you're not getting it even from your friend group, just reach out to people like on this podcast, for example, or an elder in your community or somebody, right? Or Brent, I know you're doing huge things with all the kinds of youth, right? And it just takes. All it took for me was one person. Obviously, it's my mom, so I hold her at high esteem. But just tell you to go do something, and man, just it opens up the whole world for you. You realize that nothing was holding you back.
Man,
Man,
never too late.
Oh,
Never too late.
I forgot Haley was still on the phone.
I'm just listening right
That's
now.
good. That's good. And Brett's got his wicked Wi-Fi going on now. Looks like it's streaming well.
Yeah, it looks like he has an antenna wrapped around his neck there, trying to get more. That's right there, the rabbit ears with the tinfoil. Fucking hold it.
Brent, you muted your thing. Your thing there. There you go.
Yeah, I know. I just wanted to hear you guys. Sometimes I get rambling. I just want to hear everybody speak up.
That's the good part, man. I think you were blessed with words, just like Rachel and Haley are there. Like, just, there's certain people that can just give her and Mike, you too. You can speak well, but I mean, Rachel and Haley and Brent, they were like mic drops today, man. Like, just really good. Like, you guys, there's people that are blessed to speak and people will listen. You know what I mean? Don't go like that, Rachel. You're one of them. You are legit one of them. Like, you and Haley, like, for sure you guys are, and when you speak, I think it's like you were maybe whatever you believe in put you in that spot and gave you that thing. Everyone's got what's the word? Everyone has something.
There's spark.
A spark or a gift. Everyone has a gift.
Yeah.
And you got to find it. And once you find it, you're supposed to share it. You're not supposed to put it with yourself. You're supposed to share that gift. Like, that's, I don't know. That's what I was taught anyway. Once you got that gift and you know what it is, you got to share it. Because it's supposed to bless other people, right?
We have a partnership with a development on Taza Development, which our nation owns. But one of the CEOs said it's identifying that gift, Nathan, which you talked about, but personalities. everybody has that personality and a strength, but big companies are now just giving personality tests and gearing people towards the field that where their personalities fit. And there's free personality tests online to where you can see what type of personality you are. And I think just growing with that. So we're all learning, right? I'm learning about it too, and I think I'm an alpha male. I like to think I am, but
Yeah,
Check with Mama Bear behind his back. I'm alpha. I'm alpha.
I'm alpha. Hey, you guys, I'm alpha.
I think I'm an alpha male too.
Not even gonna lie to you guys, I was so stressed out for like the past month. And I remember somebody commented earlier up here saying that her daughter was feeling very overwhelmed with
Oh, that was
with the
Sonia.
workload that teachers were, putting on these students. And you know what? I felt that, like,
yeah,
because of our new system now, we have to learn every single subject in a matter of 2 months, and we do the subject for 3 hours a day now. And so the workload was like very pressured, and like we're moving so fast. And I was in chemistry 30. I was, and I was like, you know what? I've had enough of this. I have no time for myself. I'm studying every single day for 5 hours. Like, I feel like I have no life now. And you know what? I was like, I'm just gonna like drop this class, and I did. And it's only been a couple of days, but I can surely tell you that I feel way less stressed out. Like, I was so stressed, and these teachers didn't even understand. They're like, we're stressed out too, but I was like, what are you doing to, these students are going through like tough times with, not being at school, and it's so different for us because we're so used to learning from school and face to face. And it was pressuring because we basically were teaching ourselves like every single day. And I just had enough. I was like, I can't do this. Like, yeah, I'm pretty smart, but I'm not going to lie. This class is making me feel kind of dumb. So I dropped the class, and I was like, you know what? Like, honestly, I don't think I need this class. I'm just going to drop it. And like that stress, like already I could automatically feel it. And I'm like, Haley, like if this is how it's going to be for another 2 months, like you're not going to last. Like you're going to go downhill. And for me too, like it's so important for me to just have time for myself, to just like focus on myself and, do things for myself. Like I couldn't even work out every day. And I was like so unmotivated because all my time was going to like schoolwork. And I was like, yeah, it's preparing me for university and whatnot. But I can tell you, like, I was so stressed out. I was staying up all night, and I was trying to get my work in. And I was like high school classes shouldn't be this hard. Like, it's just a high school class. Like, this is not a university class. This is just high school. Like, and it should not be this difficult. Like, do not set me up to fail here. Like, I'm trying to learn, and we should all be making it easy for ourselves and not making it so difficult. So I got out of there. I was like, I'm done with this. I'm not doing this. I'm sorry. I hate to quit, but I wasn't really quitting. I was like, I just need to drop this class because it's not for me.
Well,
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm glad you recognize that, Haley, because as a parent, I have a 14-year-old daughter who really thrives on education, and having to sit off for 1 month and then have the principal come back and just throw them with workload after workload after workload. It's a lot of stress on a student. And my daughter actually developed shingles in the past week, and caused from stress at 14 years old. So
I had that when I was in grade 4. I know. I feel her pain.
So
yes,
it's a wake-up call, and it hurt as a parent to see my daughter going through that. But now we're learning from it, and her mental health is number one now, and we're concentrating on a balance, because getting that 90% average isn't everything in the world during a pandemic. It's being able to have the balance, and her mental, her physical, her food, everything, and learning to talk about it. So it's so important. I'm glad you recognize that, and I need to work on that as a parent to learn how to communicate with my daughter, because a lot of times it's just the computer. but you need to have that face-to-face interaction.
Yeah, we kind of went through the same thing recently in our home. Like my daughter, she's 15, she's in grade 10. She's been doing online learning since this year started. And, it was an adjustment for her because last year she kind of just like trailed off a little bit, where everybody was home, but then a lot of kids weren't really like sticking to their stuff, at least not where we are. So but she was breaking out in hives and she had like welts on her face. And I was like, what's going on with you? And sometimes she's in her room for 12 hours. And I like, you got to come out here. You got to move your body. Like, you come and do yoga with me or, like go in the basement and hit up a HIIT yoga or a HIIT routine for 10, 15 minutes. I don't care. Something. You got to move your energy. You can't just be sitting in your room for 12 hours stressing over these like online classes and quizzes and, little tests and writing. And finally, we did one of the techniques that I use. We did some tapping on her anxiety that she was feeling around all this school stuff. And it definitely helped. But when there's like stuff happening to your physical body and you're breaking out and you're getting hives or shingles and, things like that, that's a big indication your body's talking to you. It's saying, hey, something's got to shift here because this isn't working. So yeah, we kind of the same thing, but it's hard on these kids. Yeah. And I think I felt as a parent, I'm like, what the fuck do I do? Like, I can only do so much, and I don't want to force her to get her work done all the time because she's already stressed out. So we talked about the marks too, like, I'm like, pass your classes, whatever, get your credits. I don't care. Like you're literally living, during a wild time. It's not that big of a deal. It's just another societal thing that's put on people to do this and look this way and be this way. And I don't like boxes. So I just, we kind of took a step back from whatever was going on with that. And I just really think it's so important for kids to know, or young people to know, that it's not that big of a deal. The class, like, yes, education is important, but what's the point if you feel like crap every day?
Let's go.
But society says the principals and the boards and the teachers are jamming it down the kids' throats. So we had to be an advocate and talk to the principals and not preach, but just talk about the mental wellness issues going on. So I'm glad the principal now is understanding it and starting to roll out like maybe a care program for the kids to talk about it. So as parents, we gotta speak up to the school boards or the principals as well.
Yeah, they just need more supports in place, I think, while they're at home doing this work, like, trying to get through these online classes. Like, I struggled with online classes when I was in university, to be in high school and trying to do this shit. That takes a lot of discipline and a lot of focus. Yeah. Teenagers want to be with their friends and they want to be doing things that are fun, period.
What are you guys doing in Saskatchewan? Are you guys on lockdown, or are you guys on a 10-person outside?
No, we're pretty much open. It's Mo's kind of an idiot, but he's taken economy over basically health.
Yeah, he doesn't care if you die.
He doesn't give a shit. But
do any politicians? I know we're not going to get into politics, but politicians don't give a shit if you die.
We got a politician here with us.
Oh, do we? Where?
No, I don't call myself a politician. We're considered leaders in our community. We never use politicians, so
yeah.
There's traditional
guys, because you guys do have kids, telling you that the best thing you can do is, your kid is in their room all the time. Get them out. I'm telling you, get them out. Oh, they're going to be mad at you. It's like, quit bugging me. Like, leave me alone. I'm telling you, get them out of their room. The longer they're in their room, the more upset they're going to be, the more frustrated they're going to be, like everything. And that's where that anger is coming from, because they're in the room alone. And the best thing that you can do is say, hey, like, I'm here, like, you want to do your work? Okay, I'll do your work with you. I know, like, as adults, you know, you have your own work, you have your job and whatnot, but having, like, being able to talk to your kid and say, you know what, like, if you need help, like, just let me know. Like, I can help you. I'll literally relearn this with you if you need it. And, you know, I can talk to the teacher for you if you need, like, less pressure. Like, and it's important that your kid's getting out every day, like, getting that vitamin D, you know, doing a little workout, like, even saying, hey, let's go to the store, let's go get a drink, or let's go to 7-Eleven, like something, you know, so they're getting that fresh air, so they're getting out of their rooms. And like me, like, I'm not even allowed to see my friends, and that wasn't just my decision, but like my parents are like, no, like, and we really like are strict about like who we see and whatnot, and it actually really takes a toll on us, and like not being able to do teenager things nowadays, and especially because your kids seem like they're like around 12, 13, 14 at around, and I'm telling you, at around that age, it feels like nobody really understands it. You feel like, okay, not a kid, but I'm also not an adult. You know what I mean? So you kind of feel stuck because the kids won't understand you, but the adults won't understand you. So you're kind of in the middle there. And so it's really important that, you know, you're still supporting them and you're there for them. And I actually really appreciate that you guys are like recognizing that, because some parents actually don't like worry about their kids like that, and they'll allow their kids to just sit in their rooms all day. And they don't check up on them. I'm like, why? Like you don't know what they're doing. And it's important to just have a conversation, like eating at the table, talk to your kids and whatnot. Like, that's important too. And I like that you guys are acknowledging that, because as a kid, like when I was younger too, like I used to just hang out in my room all day. I didn't care, like, leave me alone. And I regret that now, because I missed out on a lot of things, and it really dragged me down. And I was actually going through a lot, and I just decided I just wanted to be alone when I was pushing out my parents when they were trying to support me. And I, you know, of course I made them feel crap, because, you know, I wasn't telling them about what I was going through and what was happening with me. And, you know, as soon as it just clicked, like, you know what, I should just tell them, because I know that they'll be supportive and they'll be there for me. Like, that's an important conversation to have. And especially now with COVID, like, even us kids should be, you know, checking up on our parents, because our parents are also stressed out. You know, they can't go out every day and go out everywhere. Like, they're limited too, and they're really stressed out. So I've learned that too. Like, you know, I'm getting to that age where I'm going to be an adult soon here, and, you know, I have to start like looking at my parents and checking on what they're going through and how they're feeling. I'm checking on my mom all the time. And, how are you doing? How was your day? And asking them. Like, as I got older, I kind of realized, like, wow, like, I wasn't really having that connection to my parents when I should have. And I really regret that. But, you know, I was going through something, and instead of, you know, accepting that they were trying to be supportive, I was just shutting them out.
Yeah, we're fortunate enough to be close to the city at the same time, but the pandemic is big in Calgary, like with COVID. But I've tried to find a way to connect with my daughter through Kijiji and putting stuff in the barn for sale, or junk that I don't even use, and her teaching me and me teaching her how to be a little entrepreneur, but a little bit of hustle, but give her a percentage out of it to teach her how to create a little bit of income and the social side of it. And, you know, it's I'm just trying to make every possible positive way out of the pandemic to make our family better, whether it's training, books, or taking the positives out of it. So when we come out of the pandemic, we're going to talk about, this is what course we took. We took an equine training course, or we learned about this, or, you know what I mean? Just trying to find the positives out of everything.
Yeah. Wow. It was great to hear everyone's story, especially in the comments. Joni Golfer, Rachel's nice number one fan there on the WAC podcast. Was really into. I didn't know she was a mental health therapist, so thank you, Joni, for sharing all your information in the comments. I'm gonna cut her here, you guys. I've been giving her for a while, and I do need to relax my mind. But tonight, I've learned a lot. You know, Haley, you just blow me away all the time, man. Like I'm just like, holy shit. But it's good that our past connected, and you know, I hope going forward we podcast more and we learn off each other. And Rachel, you as well. You know, be parting that little team we're creating with Raymond and Brent. You know, I know you want to kind of get together and do this because you two as well have the same knowledge that you know what you're doing too with your goal there for ending racism and kind of bringing people together, which again is working on mental health at the same time. And Michael, you as well, you know, coming into the circle and you know, with you and your wife's relationship podcast as well. You know, that's more mental health stuff because there is a lot of people out there that, you know, shit's going south in their relationship because they're not looking after their mental health. So, you know, what you're doing is a big part, a big play in everything. And, you know, so I'm connecting with all you guys, and you guys all have your unique perspectives on everything. And it's amazing to hear. And it's not going to be the last time we podcast together like this. Like, this is going to be an ongoing thing, regardless when the world goes back to normal, whatever that is, and whenever that is. This is going to be a continued thing. You know, I've asked people, like, are you guys going to go back to where you think you're going to be going? You know, we're not listening to these anymore. And they're like, people are like really enjoying these now. Like, they're realizing we can connect with people across the world at the click of a button now, but like this, and you know what I mean? And they like the live stuff. So I want you guys to, Haley, I'm going to let you say a few words. Then we'll go with Michael, Brent, and then Rachel. I want you guys to kind of all end it and say a few words, and then we'll see you guys at the next one. So go ahead.
Well, thank you guys for sharing all your knowledge and sharing your experiences and your obstacles and your struggles. Like, that's a tough thing to do, and I really appreciate that. And I actually really listened to what you guys had to say. I'm actually a really active listener, so everything that you say, like, it helps me learn, right? And I can share your knowledge to youth that are my age, and you know, I can grow with that. And it's so important that you guys are talking about mental health as adults too, and being able to hear my perspective. Like, thank you for that. And just this discussion tonight was awesome. And you know, I hope everyone that was watching like actually took something from tonight. And I don't know, you guys are awesome. Like, Michael and Brent, like, I hope to connect with you more. And Rachel, just awesome. She's a healer in so many ways. And Nathan, like, I thank you so much for all that you've done for me, like podcasting. Like, all of a sudden I want to be a podcaster, and it's just like a blessing. Like, in a way, this COVID has been a blessing because I've connected with such amazing people like Michael and Brent, and getting, like, I didn't know you guys, and I'm glad that I do now. And I'm just glad to hear your guys' perspectives as adults. And, you know, as a youth, I really take what you guys say and I put it into my future and how I'm going to take away, like, what am I going to do with what you guys have told me now? And I just really appreciate that. And, you know, mental health is so important, and everyone goes through it in their lifetime, no matter what age, no matter how young you are, whatever. Like, everyone's going to go through it, and it's important that, you know, you feel that you're not alone, because there's so many people out here who are willing to support you and be there for you and listen to you. So don't be scared to reach out, not even if you're a man. But yeah, thank you guys, and it's awesome.
Awesome. Thank you,
Thanks,
Haley.
Haley.
Yeah, thanks, Haley. Appreciate it.
All right. Mike, go ahead.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys again. It's an honor to be here with you, everybody, and the stuff you guys are spitting is just ridiculous. So I love it. And it just, again, it goes back to who we hang out with, right? And hanging out with you guys on a night like this, I'll take that any day to listen to this stuff. So and there you go. Just like my wife says, we crave connection, man. It's what we are. We're tribal people, especially us, right? We belong together, and if this is what it has to be for now, these deep conversations over the internet, so be it. But
I'm going to stop you right there. Hold on. Laura, can you put your podcast name in there, and I'll bring it up.
Oh, look at you, buddy. Thank you, sir. So we're doing that. And this time really, this COVID time really highlighted that with relationships, right? And that's what my wife and I take care or do a lot of, because I was a terrible husband. So I was a prime example for her. So we went through all the stages, and we've been there, done that, right? Now we're actually spun it. We're running a course in a week.
Nice.
We're helping couples. We're doing a course with that, and it's awesome, man. And we and it's funny too when you work on things like this. Like you can when you're working on it, you're still working on yourself at the same time, right? So it's amazing. But that's what it is. Yeah, the Rock Life Podcast. That's where it.
Nice.
That's what that is. And then if you go to larocklife.com, that's where you can find a lot of stuff as well. So it's pretty deadly. And like I said, I'm really lucky with my wife, right? Like I don't know where I'd be without her. She really, she led the way for me, and extremely fortunate. And now I feel that as a responsibility to carry that torch and be that person for more men. And Haley talks about it all the time, right? We're adults. We don't talk about that, especially men, right? We don't open up. And I feel like the more we open up, the more men's groups we can go to, the more healing circles, the more anything, just to get it out there and talk with guys. It's going to help everybody. And again, trickles down, helps our kids, helps everybody. So very fortunate. And Nate, like, I mean, you're such a leader, and you're pushing this so much, and I appreciate it, man. Like it's miles. You're doing things that, like you said, it doesn't seem like you're doing much, but man, it's affecting so many people. I'm so fortunate to even just be a little part of this. It's amazing. So I'm very fortunate our paths crossed. Brent, it's going to be I didn't realize I'm in Red Deer. So if you're in Calgary, I might have to stumble down there one day and hang out with you in the teepee, and we can talk horses and bullshit. And
anytime.
Go from there. And and again, Haley, like, I mean, you're amazing. It's crazy. I know we bang on about it a lot, but man, just keep doing what you're doing. I mean, there's going to be haters are going to hate, but man, you're doing it. And Rochelle, I mean, Rachel, I work with a lady you called Rochelle, and then Rachel. I call her Rachel all the time, vice versa. So it screws me up. But man, loving your energy, because I hooked up with you on Facebook now, and I'm watching some of your stuff, and it's awesome. It's right in line where my wife and I are at too. So
nice.
Collab.
Yeah, there'll definitely be something in the works there, right? So that's Nathan. Right, conduit. He's connecting all of us here, and it's
really, the Podfather.
There you go,
Podfather.
Ripple effects, buddy. It's ripple effects. So I appreciate it. Grateful for all you guys, and thank you.
Hi. Go ahead, Rach.
Thank you.
Or was that Rach or no? Yeah, I can't remember.
See, it screws you up, eh?
Yeah, I'll go. Okay, thank you, everybody. It's really nice. I didn't know if I was going to make it on here tonight. I was having a little full moon feast with my daughters, so I'm glad that I did have some time at the end of the evening to connect. I know that mental health is really important. I feel like I learned a lot, and it's really good to hear everybody's, perspectives and to share their experiences. So I really enjoyed that. So thank you, everybody, for that. I also do, I'm going to promote myself.
It's all good. It's all good.
No, so I also do, workshops, and I teach classes to teachers and students as well in the North. I work with Connected North with taking it global as an Indigenous role model. So I get to actually connect with people and teach them this technique that I use with clients myself, which is super beneficial. And it is all about how you can reduce and relieve your anxiety, your anger, and any kind of distressful emotions. So if anybody's interested in, connecting around that and learning a little bit more about that and how we can, share those things with young people, for example, or teachers or people that are working in very busy organizations, just to bring some balance back to everybody's system, so that everybody else can kind of operate their own business and the things that they're in charge of, right? Or the things that they're leading can go a little bit smoother. So there's that. And then I'm also offering two 90-minute intuitive coaching intensives right now. So if anybody's interested in, getting some more clarity and, just really wanting to find some peace and some joy in their lives, and so they can create a life full of freedom and fun and play and abundance and things like that, I offer that as well. And then I'm also wrapping up my other course, which is ending on Sunday, and that's Transform Your Reality. So if you're interested in anything like that, you can contact me through my email, which is located on my website, which is peacejoyandclaritynow.com. Okay. Anyways, other than that, it's been really fun to come. I love podcasting. And I'm starting a podcast on February 15th. It's called Here for the Shift. It's with me and 3 of my beautiful soul sisters that are also Indigenous, and from California to the West Coast to the East Coast. And we're going to be talking about everything from healing and well-being, shifting and elevating your consciousness, and really just moving out of those old conditioned programs and paradigms of thinking, so that we can really create a reality that is more conducive and aligned with, again, the peace and the love and the joy, because I think that is what our ancestors would want. So if you're interested in checking that out, it starts on the February 15th, and you can learn more about that by following me on Facebook. Anyways, I'm going to shut up now. I feel like I'm just going rambling on about all this stuff.
But wait, there's more.
But wait. Oh yeah. Wait. Follow me on Instagram too.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Rach. Awesome.
But yeah. Anyways, thanks for sharing your stories today too. I feel better already, because I had a little bit of a some lower moments as a mom the last couple of days. So I appreciate everybody's sharing and input today. So thank you.
Awesome. Brent?
Yeah. I guess I'm a little bit of an old school type of guy. I'm 43. I'm not on Facebook. I'm not on Instagram. I just joined Snapchat. But Nate, you really got me into these podcasts, because I believe that we have to empower each other as First Nation people, Indigenous people. Mm-hmm. And Willis, it's pretty good to hear your story of being Dene, and the elders talk about Nata, the creator, and Usa, the future, and Halukwa, the elders. And Siaskas for your stories, and just keep up the good work. And Haley Rose, pretty impressed with your knowledge. I know you have like the old ways that the elders taught you, and just keep up the good work. And Michael, I'm going to tune into your podcasts, and we'll have to catch up for a cup of coffee one of these days, and for sure. And Rachel, you brought like a whole new meaning to healing to me, because I feel that when people heal, you got to heal on your terms. So I'm really looking forward to hearing what you have to do as a person. And I guess me and my wife's life and my daughter, everything we do is based around empowerment and healing. We do DH ranches, so we do equine assistance horse training, and we're going to be working with First Nation youth, and the horses are the trainers, the horses are the healers. We're just empowering people with skills, and I have my whole ranch is set up towards helping the youth heal in a good way. And wife wants to do like camps for couples, and empowerment camps, date camps, and we got our whole teepee, our ranch set up as a setup. So it's just about healing, making people feel better about themselves. And I'm also doing a nonprofit organization of what is going on in the world with social injustice and racism. My story as a hockey player, but I've started a nonprofit organization called Hockey Unites. I'm working with the Calgary Flames, the WHL. So we're trying to change the landscape around hockey diversity and teach Canadians about how beautiful the cultures are in hockey and celebrate them, because there is a lot of racism that nobody talks about. It's there, but we need to be able to start talking about it. And my wife is part of the Gold Buckle Dream, so log on to Facebook. My wife is really into working with the kids and empowering the youth about their goals and dreams, so Gold Buckle Dreams. And just thank my wife and my daughter for being behind me 110%. And just thank you, Nate, for everything you do. Godfather.
Hey, man, thanks. Well, there you guys go, man. More podcasts to come. We're gonna indigenize the heck out of it all, and we are coming for everything in the world, and we're gonna make good things happen. And like as you can see, you got Michael, Brent, Rachel, Willis, Haley, and whoever else is podcasting, Raymond as well. Man, good things are coming, and the more we talk about it, the more we back each other up and promote each other, the more successful and healthier we're gonna start being. We're gonna build each other up, and we're all gonna learn from each other. Like tonight, I've learned so much, and it doesn't matter how young you are, how old you are, you can always learn off people, and that's what these podcasts are all about. Is just connecting and learning and seeing from a different perspective. And I literally learned some tonight. Like I knew I was kind of going through the same stuff with my daughter. Literally, I got a call tonight and from her mom and their situation, and then just hearing Brent's story and then Rachel. Just like, damn, man, like I learned something out of how a solution that we could probably use going forward. Me and my daughter's mom. So like like you never know, man, what comes up in these podcasts and what you can learn, but it's amazing. But with that, you guys definitely need to do this again. We'll do maybe another mental health. I don't think we should wait once a year for the hashtag to come along. I think it should be an ongoing thing. But with that, you guys, I am out of here. Thank you for joining IOPS podcast again, IOPPS.ca. Don't forget to check it out. With that, you guys, we're out of here, and we will see you at the next one. Peace.
Peace.